That's off. All the way off. That's off. That's on. And it's live. Okay, we're good to go. Hello! Shadowcat back with more Pathfinder 2nd Edition. We're still trying to figure this stuff out. Good luck to us all. We're gonna need it. No, it's actually been getting better. It's been getting better. The spells at least make sense from a 1st edition standpoint. There's a few things that are different. There's a few spells that have changed. A lot of spells that have changed, actually. But it's been a lot better than the feats. At least, you know, I'm given a list of spells and I'm allowed to pick what I want. Instead of being told that everything is off limits for whatever reason they come up with. And I have to go through and do it again because after I get done with this character, I think I'm going to do a quick build of like a fighter just to see what the other side is like. Maybe a couple other characters. I don't know. We're not going to spend nearly as much time as we did on this one, but a couple of quick builds just to see what the other classes are like. Or maybe we'll just do a read through. I don't even know. Maybe a read through would be better. We don't need to do like a full build on any of this, but I just kind of want to see what the game is like from the other aspects so that I can see how everything kind of meshes together. I'm also going to go through and do an equipment build out for this character, which is not something that I would normally spend a whole lot of time working on, but I need to sit down and actually go through the equipment tab because I want to see what things are like. I want to see what things have changed. I want to see what the stats are like. And just how they're doing equipment in general, because we've taken a couple of looks so far. It hasn't been much, but we have taken a couple of looks. And for example, I was told that a lot of the fighters' functionality is going to come from their equipment, which, you know, is true. That's kind of how it works. One of the ways that I usually describe how a fighter plays to new players is I ask them if they've ever heard of The Witcher. Because The Witcher is absolutely a fighter. And I say that because if you've ever played any of the Witcher games or read the Witcher books, the Witcher uses a sword, but he travels with multiple swords. He's got a standard steel sword that he uses for most everything. He also carries a silver sword for things like vampires, werewolves, stuff like that. He carries a magic sword for anything that is resistant to normal metals. He carries a variety of weapons on him for whatever circumstance may come up, which again is another reason why fighters and wizards tend to parallel each other. Both of them are all about being prepared for whatever situation comes up. So, I want to look at the equipment and see exactly what they have there. But that'll be for later. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to go back to spells, but before I do that, of course, if you're here and you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do that. Hit the bell icon, that way you get notified every time these videos come out. If you know somebody else who's also into tabletop games like Pathfinder, Starfinder, then share this video with them. And if you like me, leave a like on the video. There's a button down there. Nobody ever pushes it, but it's there. Which is kind of sad. The button makes me happy. Make me happy. Push the button. However, you can also leave comments. Comments are always good, but if you're going to leave a comment, do me a favor and just come join us on the Discord and leave your comments there. Not only does it work just as well, but you can send them to me directly. If you want to tell me that I'm terrible at what I'm doing, you can do that. I don't have to agree with you, but you can do that. But more importantly, if you want to play with us, if you want to come play a game, you have to join the Discord because that's where we play. So, join the Discord, come play with us, and otherwise, we're going to get into this. And actually, before I do that, I do have people that are in today. Hello, JP. Good to see you. Hello, Blizz. Good to have you here, too. It always makes me sad that you have to leave, like, halfway through. So I enjoy the time when you're here. Okay, so, getting back into 2nd edition, we're going to need to have our browser. We'll need to have our spreadsheet where we're keeping track of all this stuff. And I think we're good to go. Now, last time we were here, we started on spells. We went through cantrips level 1 and 2. For cantrips, me being an illusionist primarily, I took Figment, Glamorize, Ignition, because you always need to have some kind of fire spell. Light, Message, Prestidigitation, because if you don't take Prestidigitation, you are a failure as a wizard. Shield, Sigil, Spout, and Telekinetic Hand. All very useful spells. At level 1, I took Alarm, because Alarm, always useful. Carry All, Charm, Create Water, Dizzying Colors, Force Barrage, which is the new magic missile. Grease, because you never know when you need to grease something. And Illusory Disguise, because Infinite Wardrobe. At level 2, we got Create Food, because hunting sucks. Environmental Endurance, Illusory Creature, which is... it's vastly overpowered now. I approve. I don't necessarily have to agree with it, but I definitely approve of the changes. And Mirror Image, because what's better than me? More of me. And for level 3, we took Cozy Cabin, and so far that's all we've taken. We have a list here of how many spells we're going to get per level. I technically get 4 level 3 spells. As I recall, though, we were going through the level 3s and didn't find a whole lot that we really liked. So we'll take a quick look at those again. We did leave off on Cozy Cabin, so we'll just back up. And come back down to 3rd rank. And see what else we can find. Let's see. Agonizing Despair. Mentally damage and frighten a creature. Now, see, the thing that I wanted to take Fear earlier because I think Fear is really useful. But the effect of it was so low. I mean, maybe on a critical failure, they actually flee from you for 1 round. This one says, your target's mind tumbles into a deep well of dread, dwelling so intently on deep-seated fears it's painful. The target takes 4d6 mental damage with a will saving throw. And if they succeed, they are unaffected. If they critically fail, they become frightened 3. Okay, but what does that actually do? Because this is how we're doing a lot of these conditions now. Some of them just have stages. So, what does frightened mean? It says, you're gripped by fear and struggle to control your nerves. The frightened condition always includes a value. Okay, well that was true. You take a status penalty equal to this value on all your checks and DCs, unless specified otherwise. At the end of each of your turns, the value of your frightened condition decreases by 1. So it says all checks and DCs. Alright. That seems pretty simple. So, if they succeed, they take half damage, they become frightened 1, so they take a -1 on pretty much every roll. Failure, they take full damage, become frightened 2. Critical failure, they take double damage and become frightened 3. A -3 on all of their rolls. Okay. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, I suppose. It's not nice. Let's see. Bind Undead. Way too situational. Blindness. Just seems cruel. Clairaudience. Hear through an invisible magical sensor. There's Cozy Cabin. We took that one. Cup of Dust. You curse the creature with a thirst that no drink can quench. Let's see. Day's Wait. Use time magic to fatigue a creature. Don't mess with time. It makes the GM cry. Dream Message. No. Eagle's Cry. That is absolutely the most American spell. It's also uncommon. But then again, America is uncommon. Makes sense. Let's see. Echo Jump. You teleport to an unoccupied space within range, leaving behind a faint echo of your form that explodes with magical force. It's uncommon. I can't even take it. Let's see. Familiar's face? I don't have a familiar. There's Fireball. Should I take Fireball? I'm kind of out of options here. I'm not finding anything that I really want. Okay, we'll take it. We'll take the wizard staple. I didn't ask how big the room was. I said Fireball. You never know when you might need it. Let's see. We still need 2 more, technically. Ghostly Weapon, Glass Sand is uncommon, Gravity Well, Haste, I'm never in a hurry. Horde of Underlings. You summon 6 underlings, such as skeletons or kobolds. Have you seen kobolds? They're adorable. This spell's rare, though. I can't have it. You can find it, but you can't have it. Insect form, turn into a dangerous giant insect. I don't want to be a bug. Instant Parade. An illusory parade with dozens of participants and performers appears around you. It's rare. Or it's uncommon. I want it, though. Sounds cool. Levitate. Float an object or creature a few feet off the ground. Lightning Bolt. Locate. Learn the direction of an object. Why is that uncommon? That seems weird. Magnetic Acceleration? I could get... There's so many spells that follow certain themes. Like, there's so many spells that are glass. You could make an entire glass wizard. Which would be kind of weird, but I kind of want to do it. Similarly, there's enough gravity spells. Like, up here, Gravity Well. You can make a gravity wizard, or magnetic acceleration. You can make a magnetic wizard. You magnetize a small metal object, such as a nail or coin, and launch it away from you at massive speed. You turn yourself into a railgun. Make a ranged spell attack roll. If the target is wearing metal armor or is made of metal, you get a +1 circumstance bonus. Wow. Well, what else do we have? Organ Sight. See a foe's organs and use your knowledge to deal precision damage. Does that mean you get critical hits? You see the target as though it's dissected and arrayed before you. For the duration, you gain a +2 circumstance bonus on medicine checks against the target that depend on its organs, but a -2 circumstance penalty on medicine checks when seeing its skin. When you cast a spell, attempt to recall knowledge check using medicine to spot and discern a vital organ. If you have lore with appropriate skill to the creature... I got the yawns this morning. You can use the skill instead of medicine. If you succeed, the next time you do piercing or slashing damage, you deal an additional 4d6 precision damage. Wow. So, precision damage is still a thing. Interesting. Some people may not know what precision damage is. When a rogue uses their sneak attack, they deal precision damage. And the reason why they did that is because they wanted to add a whole bunch of different effects that would just affect sneak attacks. And so they gave them their own kind of damage category. Very situational, though. You'd have to really build a character around that. Phantom Prison. I think we looked at that one last time. You completely surround a large or smaller creature with illusory walls, trapping it inside a false prison it can't escape. No other creatures see or feel these walls, and the target can't see anything outside them. The target can escape or can attempt a will save when the spell is cast. And each time it attempts to interact and escape the walls, each time something from outside the walls affects the target. On a success, it disbelieves the illusion and the spell ends. I mean... I like the idea, but it seems just so very fragile. Like, they get to make a will save versus my spell DC. What is my spell DC again? So if we scroll up, come over here. Oh, I haven't filled that in yet. Well, my spell DC. Let's just pop back to the wizard for a moment. Well, no, we're just trained in spell DC. Okay, so this is going to work like any other thing. Let's see. Do I get to add my my intelligence to it? I think I do. Hold on. Let's look at the actual sheet. So, class DC... base plus your key ability score plus your proficiency plus any items. Okay. And that's just your class DC, so that'd be my wizard DC. Does that count the same for spell DC? I'm not even sure about that. It's not really listed anywhere else. I don't know if I get to add anything else to it. Magical traditions, spell DC. Ah, here we go. Spell DC. So base plus your key ability score plus your proficiency. So 10 plus my key ability score, which is going to be intelligence. That's a +4. And then proficiencies. So 10 plus 14 plus spell attack DC is down here. So it's going to be 14, and then I get to add DC. And PC's in. Hello, PC. Good to have you here. We're doing math. Which I guess is better than doing meth. Plus my proficiency, which is going to be my level, plus the training. Since yellow is expert, that's a +4, so that's going to be a +16, which means that my spell DC is going to be 14 plus 16. That's 30. Holy crap. Well, mind you, I mean, same thing technically applies to my will save. My will save is going to be a plus... I mean, I probably should have filled these numbers in before. I'm an expert in will, so that's a +4, plus my level, that's 16, plus my wisdom is a +3, so 16 plus 3 is +19. And JP says, I object to mathing on Sundays. Well, you picked the wrong stream then. Alright, so just using my character as the example here, my spell DC is 30, assuming I did my math right, and I'm pretty sure I did. My will save is 19, which means that if I had to save against my own spell, I would need to roll an 11 or higher. Coin toss. I don't like a coin toss odds. I really don't. And mind you, will is... Well, actually, at this level, I don't have a bad save. Except for my, my stats. But I don't really have any bad stats either. I got a +4 for my, dexterity, so that's a reflex. +3 for my constitution, which makes it my bad stat at a +3. So if I wanted to use this illusory prison, if I'm casting on somebody that's actually equal level to me, I gotta say I'm not thrilled with this. However, I suppose there is an argument to be made for it. Where was it? It was up here. I think it was up here. It was up here, wasn't it? Or no, Phantom Prison, that's what it was called. I do think that it does have use. It may not be something that you're going to go to stop somebody that's of your equal level, but if you wanted to just stop somebody harmlessly, like a bandit threatens you or something like that, you could just imprison them and walk away. I mean, the duration is 1 minute. In 1 minute, you could be, 1 minute's worth of walking further away from them, and then if they come back for you, fireball. Just saying, it's an option. I kind of like it. So, I'm going to put it on there. Phantom Prison. What else do we got then? Let's see. Radiant Globe. You create a dome of brilliant light that destroys projectiles attempting to pass through it. It's uncommon. So is Rally Point. Roaring Applause. Force a target to cheer and applaud you. This is why they put anti-magic fields in comedy clubs. Rouse Skeletons. I don't want to be a necromancer. Safe Passage. Interesting. Make a passage to an area safe for a brief amount of time. Anyone passing through the area gains the following benefits against harmful effects of the terrain and environment, including environmental damage, hazardous terrain, and hazards in the area. The spell grants a +2 status bonus to AC and saves against such effects, and resistance 5 to all damage that would come from such effects. Furthermore, the spell prevents anything in the area that's prone to collapse, such as a rickety bridge and unstable ceiling, from collapsing, except under extreme strain that would collapse a normal structure of its type. It only protects from harm, not inconvenience, and doesn't reduce difficult terrain, remove concealed condition caused by precipitation, or the like. Nor does it protect against creatures within the area, so you can still be attacked. And it is a 10-foot wide, 10-foot tall, 60-foot long section of terrain. Sustained for up to 1 minute. This feels like a trap spell. How often would this actually be useful? I don't... Why? Let's see. Sea of Thought? You cover an area in a sloshing torrent of semi-solidified thought, roughly ankle high. The area becomes difficult terrain, similar to a shallow bog. Each round that a creature starts its turn in the area, it must attempt a fortitude save against the shifting waves of thought. On a failure, it takes a 10-foot circumstance penalty to its speeds until it leaves the area, and on a critical failure, also is knocked prone. Why not just take Entangle? Shadow Projectile. Whenever an ally makes a ranged attack, create a shadow double of the attack. Yeah. I'm not looking for teamwork feats here. Let's see. Stinking Cloud. No. It's a classic spell, but I don't really like it. Tempest Cloak. Time Jump. Transcribe Conflict, that's a rare spell, so we can't take that one. Vampiric Feast, and then the Walls. What is this? Wooden Double. A wooden double appears out of nowhere. This is a reaction spell, and takes the blow in your place. Take a step action. The wooden block about your size and roughly shaped like you appears in the space you left and absorbs the hit. The block has a hardness of 5 and 20 hit points. If the wooden block is destroyed, you take any excess damage the block didn't absorb. After taking the blow, the wooden block collapses into a pile of splinters and dust. This is the Naruto thing! Or they get hit by a kunai, and then it turns out, nope, that was a log. I want log. I'm taking log. Also, it's a reaction spell, so that's kind of cool. So, wooden double. It's weird, but I like it. PC says, that's just substitution jutsu. I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna be a ninja wizard. Okay, so we got 4 spells for level 3, and that's 4 spells. So now we need 4 spells from level 4. Let's go have fun there. So there are 98 spells in the 4th rank. I mean, that's less than the 3rd rank, I think. Yeah, 3rd rank at 110, so we're going down now. Alright. Aerial Form, Airlift, Aromatic Lure, Bestial Curse, Bridge of Vines. Again, that's kind of like the safe passage. How often do you need to make a Bridge of Vines? Call the Blood. These are all uncommon or rare, so I'm not getting into these anyway. Chromatic Armor. Glowing armor sheds light, dazzling foes, and granting random resistances. Same thing for Chromatic Ray, except they don't have to hit you. Cinder Swarm. Create insects made of fire. Clairvoyance. See through an invisible magical sensor. So we had Clairaudience at level 3. Clairvoyance at level 4. Does it also give you audio? You create an invisible floating eye at a location with a range. The eye can't move, but you can see in all directions from that point as if using your normal visual senses. No, you can't hear. So you'd have to cast them both together, or just wait until probably next level and get Scry. Let's see. Confusion. Confusion's always useful. Containment. Seal a creature inside of a sphere to contain or protect it. So it's like my Phantom Prison, except less Phantom. Countless Eyes. Always creepy. Creation. Oh, did they change the rules for creation? You conjure a temporary object from magical energy. It must consist of earthen or plant-derived matter, such as wood, paper, brick, or stone, and be 5 cubic feet or smaller. It can't rely on intricate artistry or complex moving parts, never fulfills the cost or the like, and can't be made of precious materials or materials with a rarity of uncommon or higher. It is obviously temporarily conjured and thus can't be sold or passed off as a genuine item. The spell gains the appropriate trait for the item created, typically earth, plant, or wood. And it lasts for 1 hour. Interesting. So it's more like they combined minor creation and fabricate into the same spell. Which makes me wonder if fabricate is still a thing anymore. Alright, that's interesting. What else do we got? Draw the lightning? Call down lightning into you or a weapon. So you get to go all Thor's hammer. Okay, I'm good. Elemental Sense, Dull Ambition. Uncommon, Rare, Uncommon, Uncommon. Filter Air. I don't know why you would do that, but sure. I mean, I guess if somebody else cast Stinking Cloud, sure, you would do it then. Fire Shield, again, a classic. Flicker, protect yourself from most damage as you teleport erratically. We'll come back and look at it. Fly! Okay, that's an instant take. You never know when you need to fly. Let's see. Glass form. Turn a creature's body into living glass. Again, you could make an entire glass-themed wizard. I'm tempted. Grasp of the deep. Make a creature feel like it's being crushed underwater. Grasping earth. Again, a classic. Ice storm. Invisibility curtain. Life-draining roots. Mercurial Stride. Turn into Quicksilver and move through creatures. You become the Terminator. JP just says, Red Bull. Yeah. Except that most fantasy settings don't have Red Bull, so they still have to rely on magic. However, if you drank a Red Bull in a modern setting, it has the same effect. Let's see. Yeah, Mercurial Stride turns you into the T-1000. Mirror's Misfortune, split into 2 copies. Destroying the fake curses the attacker. That sounds fun. Morass of Ages. Mounted Resilience. Nightmare. There's enough dream spells in here that you could do a completely dream-themed wizard as well. Ocular Overload. Outcast Curse. Plain Tether. That's an old one too. Ravenous Portal. Door turns into a mimic when others try to open it. That's fun. Reflective Scales. Replicate. Create an illusory duplicate of a creature. Well, now, hold on. What is that one? Because I like illusions. But I've never heard this one before. You create an illusory magical double that physically looks and behaves very similar to the target. This double is limited to moving, interacting, and speaking short sentences, and other similar basic tasks. It is unable to cast spells, attack, or use any complex skills. This illusory duplicate is your minion. You can issue new commands to the double as part of sustaining the spell. Cool, so it lasts as long as you sustain it. You can command the duplicate telepathically as long as the spell lasts, provided it's within 1 mile of you. You can switch between using your own senses and the duplicate's senses as a single action, which has the Concentrate trait. The illusory duplicate has the same statistics as the original creature, except it doesn't have any of the original item bonuses and 1/4 of its hit points. If the double's hit points are reduced to 0, the spell ends. Holy crap! You can clone yourself. I'm taking that. Replicate. That's awesome. That's like, what was the illusion spell we got? It was, Phantasmal Creature at level 2? Illusory Creature. It's like that, but better. I'm on board. I like it. Okay, still gotta pick 2 more, though. Rigid Form protects against polymorph attacks. Rust Cloud. Rust deflects cut creatures and rust metal. Oh my goodness, is that like the rust creature attack? Red blown flecks of rust jitter in the air, forming a cloud of agitated particles. All creatures in the cloud become concealed, and all creatures outside of it become concealed to creatures within. It deals 5d10 slashing damage to all creatures within the area with a basic fortitude save. Metal that rusts off a creature adds to the cloud. When a metal creature takes damage from the cloud's area increases by 5 feet. And the creature starts to rust, taking 1d4 persistent slashing damage. Okay, so it's not exactly the same as what a rust monster does. I wonder if they still have rust monsters. I'm kind of curious. Hold on, side tangent. Rules, setting... Game mastery? Creatures, here we go. All creatures. Let's just search for rust. Well, that didn't help. Let's see. Group by creature family, group by level. None of this is really helpful. It's sorted by name right now. If we just load all of them, wish I could sort it by, like, you know, the categories of letter. But I think we're into the L's, M, N, O, P, S. Okay, here we go. Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. Oh yeah, Rust Monster. It's still totally in here. There's a Rust Monster, a Rust Ooze, and a Rust Scarab. Let's take a look. Does it still do the same thing? Found in lost dungeons, deep caves, and abandoned mines, Rust Monsters are the bane to any adventurers who rely on armor, weapons, and other metal items. These strange-looking creatures grow to be about 5 feet long, with 4 insectile legs and a long tail ending in 4-pronged appendage resembling a tiny windmill. However, it is the Rust Monster's feathery antennae that strike fear into the hearts of battle-hardened warriors, for a single touch from even just one antenna can reduce an adventurer's most valuable tools into a pile of useless rust. Rust Monsters aren't inherently aggressive creatures, but they are voracious oxidivores, meaning they consume the rust created by their antennas. The creatures savagely attack anything that gets between them and a possible meal, and they relentlessly pursue any source of metal. A Rust Monster can be distracted by a single metal-rich item, but they are often encountered in groups of 3 or more, sharply raising the cost of escape. So, where is its ability? Antenna Disarm. The Rust Monster attempts to disarm a metal item a creature is holding using its antenna with the same modifier as an antenna strike. On its success, the item is subject to the Rust Monster's ability. See below. Alright, I'm seeing below. Rust Monster's antenna cause metal to rapidly rust and corrode. If it succeeds an antenna strike to disarm, it deals 2d6 damage, doubled on a critical hit, to a metal item the target is wearing or holding, ignoring its hardness. If the Rust Monster hits an unattended magical item, it takes the damage automatically. If a creature uses the shield block reaction with a metal shield, the shield is automatically broken, but no other item is rusted on that attack. Yes, they have preserved just how scary Rust Monsters are. Thank you for that. It is so good. I've literally never used a Rust Monster in a game just because I feel that they are unfair. I've never used one. I've never felt the need to use one. There's a picture of one. I can even make it bigger. There's a Rust Monster. I mean, they're not particularly dangerous, except to, you know, your inventory. That is funny that they are still in here. I'm surprised that, that the what was it called? The rust cloud doesn't actually affect anything else metal, but I suppose it's good. Sanguine Mist, Seal Fate, Shapestone. Shapestone is actually really useful because if you want to go through a metal or a stone wall, you just make a door. And the thing is that druids get Shapestone, like, automatically. They get Shapestone, they get things like Shape Mud, Stone to Mud, all kinds of matter of natural transfiguration. And so it's basically impossible to imprison a druid. Basically. You can put a druid inside of whatever you want. If it is of sufficient level, they will just walk out of whatever you put them in. Let's see. Sliding blocks? No. Soft landing. Is it a reaction? No, it's not a reaction. It takes 2 actions. A magical field that buoys any creature or object falling into the area, providing a harmless landing from any height. Yeah, I don't really see the reason. Solid fog? No. Spell immunity. Name a spell to negate its effects on you. It is so incredibly niche. I mean, it's been around for a long time. But since it only really protects you against one spell, it's one of those things where, like, if you wanted to fight a lich, you would have to do the research to find out what is that lich's favorite spell. And then you would use spell immunity to make you immune to that Lich's favorite spell, which might save you exactly once. It's not great. Let's see. Stifling Stillness. Suggestion. Oh, suggestion's always good. Telepathy. Telepathy's a level 4. You know, between suggestion and telepathy, I could pretty much just fill up my list there. Let's see. Translocate lets you teleport a moderate distance. And by moderate, they mean 120 feet. I'd rather just save it for telepathy. Vapor Form. Also, it's another one of those spells that it's like, nobody really thinks about it. Nobody cares about it that much. But if you have Vapor Form, again, you are immune to prison. So you're in town and the rogues steal something. And then they point at you. So the guards arrest you, throw you in prison, you cast Vapor Form, and just go out the window. Or under the door. Let's see. Vision of Beauty is rare. Vision of Death? Show the target a vision of their own death, causing fear and mental damage. That sounds like fun. Wall of Fire. Classic. Wall of Mirrors. Interesting. Weapon Storm. Multiply a weapon you hold and attack many creatures with it. Cast that on the fighter. Winning Streak. Ymeri's Mark. Curse a creature with the Queen of the Inferno's mark to track it or make it explode. I'm sorry, what? You place a fiery mark of the Queen of the Inferno on a target, burning into the creature's very essence. The mark gives off a heat that only you can sense. As long as you're on the same plane as the target, you can sense the direction it's in. The target is fatigued and it cannot reduce the value of this condition normally. You can detonate the mark at any point in its duration by dismissing the spell. The rune explodes in a 10-foot emanation centered on the target that deals 5d6 fire damage with a basic reflex save. You choose whether the mark's target is included in the explosion. When you cast the spell, the target attempts a fortitude save to determine how long the mark lasts. If the spell's duration elapses, the rune does not explode. On a critical success, it doesn't. A regular success is 1 minute, a failure is a week, and a critical failure is unlimited. I need you to just... The wizard walks into a bar, slaps the person or a guy at the bar counter on the back and says, "Hey, I haven't seen you in forever. We should get together later," and walks out. I love spells like this, but they're absolutely terrifying. I'm not taking this. I'm not taking it. However, it has possibilities. And JP just says unlimited. Yes, unlimited duration. It's not as good as unlimited power, but it's close. They get a critical failure on that. The mark is on them forever. You forever know where they are and forever can just blow them up at will. Could you imagine this? Like, we've seen that there are feats and such that can cause or can shift successes and failures. Can you imagine, like, what is this, it's a curse, okay? It's a curse. Can you imagine finding a feat that causes any failures on a feat, or on a curse, to become a critical failure? And then, You walk up to somebody, okay, and let's just say, oh my goodness. Imagine you work for the mob. Imagine you work for the mob, okay? And you have a character, or you are that character, who puts this mark on someone's child. Okay? And then you're meeting with somebody one day, and you just say, so, how's Bobby? I know where he is right now. I know exactly where he is. Little Bobby's playing with his friends. He's a good kid. His friends seem like good kids. Be a shame if something would have happened to him. You see, we put a mark on him. And now we know where he is all the time. We could take him. Or I could just snap my fingers. And little Bobby doesn't exist anymore. Neither do his friends. So you're gonna do what we tell you to do. For as long as we tell you to do it. And you're gonna do it. For Bobby. I'm almost... I gotta say, this is one of those spells. This is one of those spells that I almost think that using it qualifies as an evil act. Like, if you take this spell, okay, you're automatically suspect. If you use this spell, I'm gonna need you to tell me why you thought this was a good idea and why you thought this was required. I mean, that's fun, but no, just no. Okay, I am going to take telepathy, just because I believe that every wizard should have the god spells. I'm not going to take the curse. We already took replicate. Mirror's Misfortune kind of sounds fun. Let's see. So, Mirror's Misfortune. You split yourself into a real and mirrored self of you that curses would-be attackers with misfortune of their next attacks. Which is weird, because it says it curses them, but the only tag on the spell is illusion. When you cast a spell, you seem to split into two. As you do, you can step to any adjacent square. And another square adjacent to your initial. An exact illusory duplicate of you appears. You decide a simple course of action for the duplicate to follow, such as to walk to a specific point, to wave its hands in the air, but more complex routines are beyond its abilities. A creature can distinguish between you and the duplicate only if it spends an action to seek, and succeeds at a perception check against the spell's DC. Right, so I had to look at that before because a lot of things depended on seek. Seek is just make a perception check. They just gave it a specific name. If a creature takes a hostile action against a duplicate, it shatters into mirror-like shards, inflicting bad luck on the attacker's next few attacks, as misfortunes toll for shattering the mirror. The attacker must attempt a will save with the following effects. This curse is a misfortune effect. When the duplicate shatters, the spell ends. If they succeed, they're unaffected. If they fail, within the next hour, they must roll the next 2 attacks twice and take the lower result. We call that disadvantage. Critical failure, within the next hour, they must roll its next 4 attacks with disadvantage. It's cool. I like it. It is an illusion spell. I have to say it's either that or suggestion. I think I'm going to take that one just because it is an illusion spell. And I'm biased. Mirror's Misfortune. There we go. Alright, so that gives us 4 level 4 spells. And I gotta say, I like a lot of these spells. They're good. refresh that. So we had 110 level 3s, we had 98 level 4s, then we got to move on to level 5, and there's only 83 of them. So what do we got for level 5? We've got Acid Storm, Bandit's Doom, Banishment. Again, Banishment is a classic spell, but it depends on where you are, whether you should even take it or not. Blazing Fissure. I mean, basically the same thing that Earthquake does. Blinding Bottle. Conjure an exploding glass container filled with a sight-stealing poison and hurl it across enemy lines. That's Jar P. That's Jar P from Team Fortress 2. That's just stealing. Okay, Blink Charge, Teleport, and Attack. Yeah, I'm a wizard. Why would I want to do that? I mean, I guess touch wizards are a thing. Let's see. Blister, Chromatic Wall, Cloak of Colors, Control Water. Let's see. Corrosive Muck. No. That's just difficult terrain that does acid damage. Desperate Repair. You hold a shield together with the power of your magic, forcing wood and steel to fuse back together. I mean, very situational. Elemental Breath. Gives you Dragon Breath. Elemental Form. Entwined Roots. Etheric Shards. Flame Dancer. Flames of Ego. Light up a creature and make it fascinated with itself. So you turn people into YouTubers? Okay. I'm good with that. Flammable Fumes. Forceful Hand. Flowing Strike. Freezing Rain. I'm not feeling a lot of these. Glimmer of Charm. Briefly improve the attitude of nearby creatures with a charming aura. Okay. Grisly Growths. Hallucination. Cause a creature to believe one thing is another, to notice something isn't there, or be unable to detect something. Now that sounds like more my thing. Howling Blizzard. No. Illusory Scene. Create an imaginary scene containing multiple creatures and objects. Alright, more illusions. I like my illusions. Imaginary Lockbox. Hide items in a mental compartment. Interesting. Impaling Spike. Skewer a creature with with a cold iron spike. Vlad? Instant Minefield. Create several hidden mines out of an area that explode when stepped on. Okay. Invoke Spirits. Call a group of ghostly apparitions to attack your foes. JP says, I cast Self-Proclaimed Influencer. The only thing I've ever influenced people is to not play this game. Let's see. King's Castle, that's a rare spell, but you and willing creatures swap places. Mantle of the Frozen Heart, Magma Heart, Melting Heart. I have no idea what those are, but sure. Morph your body with ice, fire, or metal. Or the Unwavering Heart, which is wood. Mariner's Curse, Mind Probe is rare. Mirror Malefactors. Mirrors surround a target and reflections attack them repeatedly. Again, I have to go back to Naruto. Is that Haku? Pressure Zone, Quicken Time, Rewinding Step. All good spells, I guess. Scouting Eye. Don't we already have Arcane Eye? What makes this different from Arcane Eye? You create an invisible floating eye 1 inch in diameter at a location you can see within 500 feet. It sees in all directions with your normal visual senses and continue to transmit what it sees. The first time you sustain the spell, it can either move the eye up to 30 feet, seeing only things in front of the eye. or move it up 10 feet. There is no limit to how far the eye can move, but the spell ends if you ever cease to be in the same plane. Interesting. Very interesting. Oh, Bliss says I gotta go. Well, Bliss, I'm still glad that you came. I was glad to have you here, and I hope that I see you back here next time. So, until next week, take care. You know, I actually might take Scouting Eye. I might take this. I might take that one. And the reason why is because my character is based on myself. Okay? That's why it's my character. That's why the character is level 12. It's based on me. And so, being that it is based on me, I only have one eye. And ergo, my character typically only has one eye. If I can use a trait to replicate that, I do, but generally speaking, they don't put in traits for characters with disabilities. Which is one thing that I kind of wish that they would. I have seen homebrew tables where if your character has one ear, they take like a -2 penalty on perception checks for hearing. If they have one eye, they take a -2 penalty on perception checks for vision, as well as, attack penalties and stuff like that. But I do like things like that, and Scouting Eye could be used as a replacement eye. It's a sustained spell, which means that once you cast it in the morning, it stays there the entire time. It can move with you at up to 30 feet per round, which means that if you were to, say, install it in your eye socket, or just have it in that area, then as you're walking, you could see through it. And in doing so, it would give you binocular, normal vision. The penalty for it is that it is sustained, which means that for the day, you would have only 2 action points whenever you needed them instead of 3. But I do think it's one of those clever ways to interpret a spell. I'm going to take it, not just because of that. I think it's a useful spell in general. But I think it'd be a really good character moment for it. So we'll take that. What else we got? Send a message. Okay, and get a reply. Shadow Siphon. React to lessen the damage from an enemy's spell by making it partially illusory. How does that work? It's a reaction. Exchanging material energy with that of the shadow plane, you transform the triggering spell into a partially illusory version of itself. Attempt to counteract the target's spell. If the attempt is successful, the creature that would be damaged by the spell instead only takes half as much damage. But the spell otherwise works as normal. Treat Shadow Siphon's counteract level as 2 higher for this attempt. Let's see. PC says you could make Jakar from Babylon 5 with that. In the later seasons, he had a scouting eye. No, he had a prosthetic eye that was wireless. And he did bad things with it. I've never been more proud of him in my life. Let's see. Shadow Siphon is kinda cool, but super situational. Although, not as much as some others. Because since you can just pick a triggering spell, which is a spell that... a spell or magical effect that deals damage, it's got a lot of uses. So, if somebody were to cast Fireball at you, you cast Shadow Siphon. If you succeed, then the Fireball just kind of fades. And when it goes off, you still get to make your reflex save, but instead of taking half damage from the Fireball, you're taking half damage from damage already halved. It's a pretty good effect. And it's an illusion spell, so it's like right up my alley. Shock and Awe, Slither, Stagnate Time, Subconscious Suggestion. Summon Dragon. That sounds like a terrible idea. Summon dragon. That dragon's gonna be pissed. Telekinetic Hall? Oh, wait, I was looking into this. So, telekinesis had multiple effects in Pathfinder 1. You could use it to move objects, you could use it to perform combat maneuvers, or you could use it to deal damage. And in Pathfinder 2, they split it into 3 spells, because I guess they figured one spell that could do more than one thing was too powerful. Telekinetic Hall allows you to move one unattended object of up to 80 bulk with no dimension, up or longer than 20 feet. I'm trying to think of what would be 20 feet that would have 80 bulk. That'd be enormous. But you move the target up to 20 feet, potentially suspended in mid-air. If you sustain, you can do so again, or you can shift your telekinetic focus to a different eligible object, moving it instead. So, it's basically just telekinesis. I need that one. It's a god spell. Transmute rock to mud. Remember what I was saying earlier about trying to keep people in prison? Yeah, that doesn't work if you don't have stone. True speech is rare. Wall of ice, wall of stone, wave of despair. That's the gun they use at the end of Hitchhiker's Guide. Okay, there's a lot of good spells in here. I definitely want some of them. So, spells that I want. I want Illusory Scene, I think. What is hallucination, by the way? The target consistently detects one thing as another, can't detect something that's there, or detects something that's not there, though it doesn't alter their beliefs. You can choose which of these effects applies. And you determine the specifics of the hallucination. For example, you could make a target see all elves as humans, be unable to detect the presence of their brother, or see their beloved good luck charm on the person who isn't, or when it is, or even when it isn't, or see a tower in the center of town. The target can attempt a will save with the effects below. They receive a will save to disbelieve the hallucination every time they seek or directly interact with the hallucination. For example, a target could attempt to disbelieve a hallucination each time they interacted with an elf, bumped into their brother accidentally, or tried to check their charm, or studied the tower. The target can attempt to disbelieve with a large circumstance bonus in situations determined by the GM, such as the target attempted to climb the non-existent tower. Okay, that has a lot of use. That's one of those spells where if you get creative, that could be interesting. Like, for hallucination, what if you were to tell them that, you simply perceive that everyone doesn't like you? You perceive that, or, I cast hallucination, or everybody is unfriendly towards you. Now, I suppose the counter-argument for that is that, if people are not being unfriendly, then they get to disbelieve it. But still, it could be done. PC says missed user effectively from Reborn Meat. I mean, it's useful. I'm gonna write it down. I may write down more than one here, and I may have to delete one or two. I'm gonna say hallucination. Which then brings me to the next one that I wanted, illusory scene. You craft an imaginary scene that includes up to 10 discrete creatures or objects of various sizes, all of which must be within the spell's area. These elements generate the appropriate sounds and smells, and they feel right to the touch. Elements of an illusory scene are incapable of speech. Unlike with the illusory creature spell, the creatures in your scene lack combat abilities and statistics. The scene does not include changes to the environment around it, though you can place your scene with the illusionary environment, or place it within the illusionary environment of a mirage spell. When you create the scene, you can choose it to be static or follow a program. Although a static scene is stationary, it includes basic natural movement. For example, wind blowing on an illusory piece of paper would rustle it. A program can be up to 1 minute long and repeats when finished. For instance, you could create a scene of 2 orcs fighting each other, and the fight would go the same way for each repetition. If you create a loop, 2 fighters end up in the same place as the start of the scene as at the end of it. Basically, you can make 3-dimensional GIFs. Any creature that touches any part or uses the seek action to examine it can attempt to disbelieve your illusion if they interact with it. Yeah. Still, though, I mean, you could create essentially 10 of yourselves. I like it. I'm putting it on the list. Imaginary lockbox? You turn a container and its contents into an imaginary form stored in your mind that only you can see and interact with. The container's physical properties, the material form in which it's made, any locks and other features are irrelevant to the casting of the spell, but the container cannot contain any creatures. The container has no bulk, and you can visualize everything inside of it. You can retrieve an item from the lockbox as an activity that takes 3 actions and has the concentrate and manipulate traits. Putting items back is not possible. You can dismiss the spell when it ends. The container returns to its normal state, either appearing in your hands if they are free, or on the ground if they are not. Interesting. So, it has to be 10 bulk or less. Potentially, you could put your backpack in there. I'm a wizard. I don't like to carry stuff. I have stuff to do, or I have spells to do that for me. Carrying stuff is pedestrian. Very cool. Not always useful, though. Mirror Malefactors sounded cool. Scouting Eye. That was one that I wanted. Scouting Eye. Telekinetic Hall was one that I wanted, so... Telekinetic Hall. And I think that's all of them. So, no, I don't have to delete anything. That's good. I mean, there were others, like Mirror Malefactor sounded cool. You completely surround a large or smaller creature with a shimmering ring of illusory mirrors that follows it as it moves, even when the creature moves outside of the spell range. These mirrors reflect the target, though if the target has no reflection like a vampire, it is unaffected by Mirror Malefactors. That's kind of cool. Not for me, but it is kind of cool. As long as the target is surrounded by the mirrors, it is frightened 1 and can't reduce its frightened value. When you cast the spell, the reflections leap from the mirrors and attack the target, dealing 7d8 mental damage with a basic will save. On subsequent turns, this effect repeats the first time you sustain the spell. If the target succeeds any will save it attempts against the Mirror Malefactors, the illusory mirrors shatter and the spell ends. Again, that is the major weakness of illusion magics. Once you succeed a will save, it's done. Still, though, you can sustain this for up to a minute. That is 10 rounds. 7d8 mental damage for 10 rounds if they fail. I'm not taking it, but that's a wow. But okay, I think that does it for rank 5 spells. And JP just says, emotional damage. Yes, I am an illusionist. All the damage that I do is emotional. Okay, so scrolling back up here, I also get 4 level 6 spells. So let's take a look at what they have for level 6. Now, 5th rank spells, we had 83 of them. 6th rank spells, we only have 57. And I mean, look at how it goes down precipitously. There are 45 7th rank spells, 32 8s, 26 9s, and 12 10s. I don't even know why there is a 10. Why is there a 10? Like, since when do we have level 10 spells? I mean, I guess this is Pathfinder. We're allowed to do that. In Dungeons and Dragons, however, level 10 spells do not exist. They are not allowed to exist. That is the lore. So I guess we're differentiating ourselves even further now. But okay, I get 6s. Okay. And JP just says, Timu Spellbook. Well, it's a Timu Spellbook for Timu spells. Alright, Arrow Salvo. Fire massive arrows that deal damage and knock down foes. I'm not that kind of wizard. Awakened Entropy. All things age, all things die, and at the end of days, even the universe grows quiet and still. Holy crap. It's the Goth spell. Boots on the ground. Craft the illusion of your army being much bigger than it actually is, hoping to overwhelm opposing forces and shatter their hopes. Seems to me like you would need an army first. Let's see. Cast into time. Make a creature fall through time, damaging and sickening it. Chain lightning. Again, it's a classic. Chromatic image. Colorful mirror images damage foes who destroy them. Interesting. Maybe. Collective transposition. Teleport up 2 creatures into new positions near you. I guess that depends on how fast can you cast it. Takes 2 actions. If this were a reaction, I would say it'd be useful. But as 2 actions, you can't cast it on somebody else's turn, which means that you can't use it to rescue people from an incoming attack. It's tactical, but not good enough for me. Cursed Metamorphosis. Transform a target into a harmless animal. I do love bunnies. Demon form, devil form. Sure. Disintegrate. Always useful. Deletes trash, deletes goblins. JP says the level 10 spells are just an illusion. You can't do that to me. I am the illusionist. Let's see. Dragon form. Turn into a dragon. Elemental confluence. Explosive barrage. You fire booming fiery explosion followed by a salvo of smaller blasts, each crackling the air with the sound of thunder. You know, for when fireball just isn't enough. Field of Razors. Flame Vortex, Frost Pillar, Frozen Fog, Lignify, turn a creature into wood. Mislead, Necrotize, Nevermind, stupefy a creature permanently. Holy crap. You drastically reduce the target's mental facilities. The target must attempt a will save. Effects of this curse can be removed only through effects that target curses. If they succeed critically, they're unaffected. If they succeed, the target is stupefied 2 for 1 round. Oh, JP says better roll a good dex save for the explosive barrage. PC says, I'm gonna bluff the opponent and yell out, I cast the spell at level 10! Make an illusory Dragon Ball Z power-up effect, watch the enemy run away, and stop the spell. What were you going to cast? Nothing. That was the spell. JP says, LOL, Spirit Bomb. I've said that is the strength of illusion magic. Like I said, any wizard can cast Fireball. But when you cast Fireball, you literally cast a little seed of fire that then blossoms into a 30-foot radius fireball. I, as an illusionist, can simply raise my hands and conjure a massive fireball in the middle of town. PC says, what were you going to cast? Already did. Just a general illusion at level 2. Not my fault they don't know binary. That is funny. That's funny. Let's see. Nevermind. I was looking at Nevermind. Failure. The target is stupefied 4 with unlimited duration. Okay, hold on a second. So we already saw that that Frightened is a -1 to all penalties, and it alleviates 1 per turn or 1 per round. What does Stupefied do? Your thoughts and instincts are clouded. It always includes a value. You take the status penalty on any intelligence, wisdom, or charisma-based rolls and DCs, including will saving throws, spell attack modifiers, spell DCs, skill checks that use these attribute modifiers. Anytime you cast a spell while stupefied, the spell is disrupted unless you succeed at a flat check with a DC equal to 5 plus your stupefied value. So if they fail, they gain stupefied 4 permanently. If you are any kind of intelligence, wisdom, or charisma class, holy crap. And if they fail critically, the target's intellect is permanently reduced below that of an animal and treats its charisma, intelligence, and wisdom modifiers as a -5. It loses all class abilities that require mental faculties, including all spell casting. If the target is a PC, they become an NPC under the GM's control. Oh my god. I don't have words for that. Holy crap. I'm not taking that one, mostly because I feel like that would just be unfair. Because again, it's a will save versus my spell DC, which is 30. Wow. Okay, Petrify is just Petrify, okay. Phantasmal Calamity. A vision of apocalyptic destruction fills the mind of each creature in the area. This vision deals 11d6. That is... 66 total, obviously. 66 minus 11 is 55, divided by 2 is 27.5, step it up. That is an average of 28 mental damage to everything in a 30-foot radius. On a critical failure, the creature must also succeed a reflex save or believe it is trapped. If it fails the second save, it is also stunned for 1 minute. It can attempt a new will save at the end of each turn. On a success, it disbelieves the illusion and recovers from the stunned condition. It is an illusory AoE effect. That's going on the list. I've never seen an illusion that did that. Phantasmal Calamity. I do love that, like, illusion magic can actually do things now. It is at least nice that if you choose to be an illusion wizard, you actually do have something that you can fall back on. Like, yes, I mean, the illusions can still be disbelieved, but it used to be if you were an illusion wizard, if you went just like pure illusion, then, you know, you had to sell it, and if you didn't sell it, then you had nothing left. A lot of these actually have effects, though. So while they can be disbelieved, if they're not, they're every bit as lethal as any other spell. I feel like they've actually kind of collapsed illusion and shadow together. Because that was the realm of shadow magic. Illusion was literally just creating something that looks like a thing and does nothing. Shadow spells created effects. However, they were imperfect effects. So, for example, if you were to conjure a shadow weapon, like a sword, if you strike somebody with the sword, they get a chance to disbelieve, but if they fail to disbelieve, it deals damage like a normal sword. It seems like they've folded that mechanic into pretty much all of the illusions, which I'm good with. I like that. And Phantasmal Calamity is just woof. Phantom Orchestra. Poltergeist Fury. Your fury spills over in a telekinetic storm of terrifying proportions. Any loose, unattended objects of one bulk or less within range are picked up and begin to orbit you at breathtaking speeds. All creatures in the area take 6d4 piercing damage with a basic reflex save. Each time you sustain the spell, you can increase the radius of the storm by 10 feet to a maximum of 100 feet. The storm moves with you and provides you with a lesser cover, though you can't use this cover to hide or sneak. Yes, a literal whirling storm, a whirlwind of projectiles. I'm gonna make a stealth check. Allies within the storm who roll successes on the reflex save against your Poltergeist Fury get a critical success instead, as you attempt to avoid hitting them. I'm liking level 6. Hold on, I gotta go back and look at something. Where was the Goth spell? Awaken Entropy. All things die, or all things age, all things die, and at the end of days, even the universe will grow quiet and still. You awaken the cosmic principle of entropy, accelerating time in an area. Flesh falters, plants shrivel, and even stone begins to crumble. Any creature that enters or begins... Hold on, where was it? I lost my spot. Oh, begins its turn in the area, takes 8d6 void damage with a basic fortitude save, or 8d6 force damage if the creature normally doesn't take void damage, such as a construct or undead. Even beings such as fiends with unlimited lifespans can be worn away by entropy. The first time you sustain this spell on each subsequent turn, the entropic zone grows stronger in addition to having its duration increased. The radius of the burst increases to 10 feet to a maximum of 40, and the size of the damage dice increases by one step, d6 to d8 to d10 to d12. It's the end of the world and they know it, and you feel fine. I want it. It's like completely in... It does not fit my, my general theme, but I want it. And it's not even an uncommon spell. Aura of the Unremarkable. You and your allies appear to be completely innocuous to other creatures, regardless of the actions you're committing. That is an uncommon spell. The Death of the Universe is a common spell. Holy hell. Okay, where were we? Repulsion. Prevent creatures from approaching you. Okay. You don't need a spell for that, just don't bathe. Skeleton Army. You summon a legion of skeletal hulks to fight your war. So this is like the quintessential necromancer spell. How many skeletons do you get? Let's see. With a fistful of compressed bones, you summon a legion of skeletal hulks. The undead occupies the space of a huge creature and has a speed of 40 feet. Duration, it says, until the end of your next turn. Seems kind of lame. A rye bone march, they arise from the dirt, slashing through your enemies and attacking their dirt-encrusted bony hands. And then depart, tossed heads. Before crumbling, the skeletons remove their skulls and throw them into enemy lines. Oh my god. It's like a skeleton army from Acme. I'm so glad I'm not a necromancer. Necromancers got done dirty. Spell rack. Curse a creature to be harmed when a spell is cast on it. Tangled creepers. Teleport. Teleport is uncommon? I'm not allowed to take teleport? But it's the last god spell I need. Dick move. Dick move. True sight, see-through illusions, and physical transformations. That's usually better when it's on an item. Unexpected transposition, switch places with a creature. Vampiric exsanguination, vibrant pattern, vitrifying blast, again, you know, glass wizard. Wall of force, wall of metal. What kind of metal? Heavy metal, death metal, black metal. And the last two are rare and uncommon, so I can't pick those anyway. Alright, I have to pick spells now. There's a lot in here that I just don't want. Like, I'm not taking any kind of form spell. Chromatic image. What is chromatic image? So, you call forth 3 illusory images of yourself. Each one of the 4 of you takes on a different color. Your colors all shift each time somebody attacks you. This has the effects of mirror image, except that whenever a foe destroys one of the images, roll 1d4 to see what color the image was when it was destroyed. The attacker takes the corresponding effect. If it's red, they take 5 fire and mental damage. If it's orange, they take acid and mental damage. If it's yellow, they take electric and mental damage. And if it's green, they take poison and mental damage, and they're frightened. I mean, I kind of feel like I have to take it just because I am an illusionist, so we'll take that one. Chromatic image. Disintegrate. I have to take disintegrate. Disintegrate is kind of required. The funny thing about disintegrate, though, is that most people think disintegrate and they think it's an attack spell. Disintegrate is not an attack spell. It is a spell that can be used to attack. Yes, disintegrate will delete a goblin from existence. The thing is, though, that with disintegrate, a black tracer bolt flies towards your target and upon making contact intensifies into a powerful destructive beam. Make a spell attack against the target. If you hit an object or force construct, such as a wall of force, it is destroyed with no save unless it's an artifact or similarly powerful. A single casting can destroy no more than a 10-foot cube of matter. If you hit a creature, it takes 12d10 damage with a basic fortitude save. If you critically hit, the target gets the result of 1 degree of success worse than the outcome of its fortitude save. A creature reduced to 0 HP is blasted into fine powder, but its gear remains. Now that's interesting. It used to destroy their gear too. But the thing is, it destroys a 10-foot cube. Which means that Disintegrate is a level 6 lockpick. I mean, you cast Disintegrate on the door. There is no door. Well, what if there isn't a door? What if it's just a wall? If that wall is anything less than 10 foot thick, and mind you, 10 foot thick is that's a big wall. I mean, yes, large castles, very large castles, had walls that were more than 10 foot thick. But in general, no. You cast this on a wall, regardless of what the wall is made out of, and now you have a 10-foot cube door. Are you in the village and they need to dig a 10-foot hole? Cast Disintegrate on the ground, and congratulations, you now have a 10-foot hole. Maybe they're burying animals or something, and they're out there with, like, shovels trying to dig this giant pit. Okay, well, Disintegrate. Now you have a hole. Or just have them pile all the dead animals up in one place and disintegrate the pile. Disintegrate has so many uses. Okay, so that gives me 3. I still need one more. And I can't take Teleport because it's uncommon. This is a cruel joke. I can't even take Scry. Scrying is uncommon. Why is Scry uncommon? It is one of the oldest wizard spells. It is one of the oldest spells in existence. And I'm not just talking about in the game. I mean to antiquity. The idea of getting your fortune told through a crystal ball goes back to medieval times. The idea of searching for meaning inside of a basin of water goes back to Egyptian times. Why is Scry an uncommon spell? Seriously, why? It doesn't make sense. Like with Teleport, I don't like it. But I can at least understand why Teleport is somewhat uncommon. Why is Scry uncommon? I don't understand that choice. I mean, here's the thing. Scry is uncommon. Okay? You are not allowed to take Scry as a level choice. You can learn it on your own, but you're not allowed to take Scry as a level choice. Nevermind is common. Nevermind on a normal failure gives any thinking creature a -4 to all thinking actions. Why is that not uncommon? Okay, you know what I'm gonna take? I'm gonna take Awaken Entropy. It doesn't fit my, it doesn't fit the bill for me, but you know what? The spells that I would normally take, you know, the harmless spells, the useful spells, I can't take them because they're uncommon. However, I can end one portion of the universe as a common spell. Make it make sense. Okay, though. That is going to give me a spell list. That is 10 cantrips, 8 level 1s, and then 4 of level 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And honestly, I think that is a pretty good spell list. We'll take this. I'll move that up to save a little space. And I like it. I think we're doing good here. I think this looks good. Alright, well, with spells done then, looking at the wizard, we've got all of our class features done. We've got all of our feats. We've got all our skill points assigned. We know what our spells are. We've got a full spell book now. So now I think we can move on to equipment real quick because, you know, wizards don't tend to carry a ton of equipment. So that's when we get into these kits. So class kits and wizard kits. So if you want to quickly decide how to spend your starting money on what your class needs, start with one of these kits. Note that an adventurer's pack, which is included with each kit, contains a backpack, bedroll, 10 pieces of chalk, flint and steel, 50 feet of rope, 2 weeks rations, soap, 5 torches, and a water skin. That's pretty much everything you need. And then the wizard kit comes with explorer's clothing, a staff, a writing set, and it is optional with a crossbow. I mean, I did take Staff Nexus as my thesis, so getting a staff is probably a good thing. So, let's just go ahead and make some notes. So, every adventurer's kit comes with a backpack, a bedroll, 10 pieces of chalk, a flint and steel, uh, 50 feet of rope, which I did not take a spell to animate, rope, 50 feet. Please don't cut it. The GM does not want to keep track of the various increments of rope that you have. Please just leave it as 50 feet. Rations per week. Soap. Torches. And water skin. And that is going to be 5? No, was it 10? 10 pieces of chalk? 10 pieces of chalk. 1 flint and steel. 1 50-foot rope. Please leave it as 1 50-foot rope. Rations. 2 weeks. Soap. 5 torches. 1 water skin. And then we get into the actual wizard part of it. So, explorer's clothing. Staff. I'm going to name my staff Infection. We get a writing set. And a crossbow. JP, I swear I will kill another one of your characters. Do not do that. Okay? Do not do that. This is the only warning you will get. Okay? That's it. The only warning. Don't do it. Okay, that is 1 crossbow and 20 bolts. So that is 1, 1, 1, 1, and 20. But this is just the starting equipment for level 1. They give you... Let's see, how much... this is going to cost us... Oh, 3 gold pieces and 2 silver pieces. We would... Money left over is 12 gold pieces. Oh, well, that's for that. Okay, hold on. 12 gold pieces and 4 silver pieces left over. This is 2, so it's going to be 14. 6 silver pieces is going to make... So we start with 15 gold pieces. Okay, 15 gold pieces. And then if we take away the We take away this, then that's fine. What we'll do is, since it takes 4 or 10 silver pieces to make a gold, it's a simple decimal place. 15 minus 3.2 is 11.8 remaining. We'll keep that in mind. Because I'm starting this character advanced. So if I were to... I want to look up rules here because I need to find out wealth. GM screen, maybe? No, this is literally just the GM screen. That's cool. Player core, GM core? Let's see. Running the game, welcoming environment, character creation. I'm looking for character wealth. Where would character wealth be? Ah, here we go. Character wealth. No, this is not wealth. This is the wealth domain. That is not what I wanted. Appearance of wealth, wealthy vigilante, wealthy immigrant, wraith, vigorous health. What? Why can't I just find out what are character wealth? Okay, this is not what I wanted. Hold on. Just use my phone to look this up. Let's see. Pathfinder 2E. Wealth by level. So this is in the GM Core, Chapter 1. Chapter 1, running the game. This is under rewards. Okay. So experience points, experience point rewards. I do mine differently, but I mean, sure. They always give these tables to use, and it's kind of like they're good tables. They do work. I just think that my method of doing it is better. Adversaries and hazards, accomplishments, hero points. Yes, yes. Treasures, treasure by level. That's average party level. Here we go. Character wealth. So this is roughly what your value should be. You should be at level 12. Your wealth should be about 4,500 gold pieces. Okay, so we'll just make a list here. So currency, gold, silver, and copper. So for our gold, that should be about 4,500, but that's going to go down. That's going to go down rather fast, actually. At least that's what I imagine. Because, like, for starters, we already know that this whole thing right here that we've got, this costs us 11.8, I believe it was. Is that what it was? Yeah, this all cost us 11.8. So we got that. And now we can go back and just look at equipment. So, for example, we've got our whole, or we got the staff thing here. We don't really need armor. However, it does say that we have permanent items here. Although I'm not exactly sure what they mean by permanent items. When your new campaign starts at a higher level, a new player joins an existing group, or a player's current character dies and they need a new one, your campaign will have one or more PCs that don't start at the first level. In these cases, refer to character wealth, which shows how many common permanent items various PCs should have. In addition to currency, a single item on this table is always a baseline item. If the player wants armor or a weapon with property runes, they must buy the property runes separately. And for armor or a weapon made of precious metal, they must pay extra. The values are for a PC just starting out the given level. If the PC joining the party has already made progress towards that level, consider giving the new character an additional item of their current level. Okay, well, we're not doing that, so this is going to be very basic. So, let's go look at equipment. And there's a lot of it. Adventuring gear, alchemical items, armor, held items, runes, shields, weapons, and worn items. Well, we know that we don't really need any weapons or shields, because, you know, wizard. What are held items? Let's see. A predictable silver piece. A cantrip deck? What the hell's a cantrip deck? In an effort to spread the knowledge of magic as widely as possible, worshippers of Nethys discovered a way to bind cantrips into cards accessible to even non-spellcasters. The deck contains thick parchment cards, with each roughly half the size of a playing card. In precise no-nonsense script, each card simply states the name of its cantrip, color-coded based on its school. The activate is either a standard or one or more actions. You envision the desired cantrip, causing its card to rise to the top of the deck, draw a card. The deck casts the cantrip as a first-level spell, the DC of 15, and a spell attack modifier plus 5. The card then crumbles into dust as the cantrip takes effect. The activation takes the same number of actions as a cantrip would normally take to cast. Wow. So there's a 5-pack of cantrips. And a full is 24. Well, that's kind of interesting. I mean, I kind of want one. Except I would want to have a full deck. Full pack, whatever. So, cantrip deck, full pack. Let's take one. And that has 24. And that is 20 gold pieces. What other fun things do they have in here? Actually, you know what I want to look at? The adventuring gear is cool and all. Actually, how about this? Let me just go through this and Oh, I can't sort this by level. Let's say, let's pick one item from every level. So that was level 1. Well, actually, no, that was... hold on. Because I took the full deck. The full deck is... Oh, item level 1. Never mind. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's right there. Full pack. Level 2. Bottomless Stein. No. Flask of Fellowship? I guess I should probably be restricting myself to anything that's common, too. Show filters. Rarities. So we're going to restrict ourselves to common gear. And that will make things a lot easier. Flask of Fellowship, Legerdemain Handkerchief, Purifying Spoon. Some of these are weird. Wondrous Figurine. An Onyx Dog. I haven't seen one of these in a long time. Each of these statuettes is 1 inch in height, carved from specific material, taking the shape of a particular animal or animals. You activate it with 2 actions. The effect is, you place it on the ground, speak its name, causing it to transform into a living creature. In creature form, the figurine has the minion trait. It can understand your language, obeys you to the best of its ability, and if the figure is slain while in animal form, it reverts to a statue shape and cannot be activated for 1 week. If the figurine is destroyed in statue form, it is shattered and the magic is lost. So, there's a wondrous figurine, the Onyx Dog. There's a Pyrite Rat, though. Is this the same thing? Yeah, it is. I mean, sure. I could take a dog. However, are these considered like the permanent items? No, I don't think these are. Yeah, I'll take a dog. Wondrous figurine, Onyx Dog. How much does that cost? 34 gold pieces. We got plenty. And we have 1. Okay, level 3 then. Move that up. Let's see. There's an any length rope. Lesser. So this 50-foot length of silk rope is lightweight and appears to be inlaid with golden threads. It can hold up to 3,000 pounds and is particularly durable with a hardness of 5 and 24 hit points. If you activate it once, however, declaring a specific length, such as 10 feet, half the rope, or so on, the rope splits itself into the requested piece, leaving the remaining length intact. If the rope length isn't enough to provide the requested amount, the activation fails. And if the rope is split into 2 or more pieces, it attempts to reassemble itself. All pieces of the rope within 500 feet slither back toward you, moving 50 feet per round over a span of 1 minute. So, I mean, there you go. There's a solution. You want different size rope? Take that rope. Don't cut your ropes. Let's see. Codebreaker's Parchment. A Rope of Climbing. Twisted Twine. Bedroll of Deep Slumber. Who doesn't want a deep slumber? It's made of especially fine cotton, stuffed with goose down, and the hem is described with the sigils of dreamlands. If you fall asleep on the bedroll, you gain +5 temporary hit points that last until you sleep that last while you sleep and last for 1 minute after you wake up, as well as a +1 status bonus to saves against mental effects that occur while you are asleep. Cool. Actually, all of these are magical. Like, whatever just happened to gear? I feel like I'm kind of in the wrong place. Like, these are all held items. They're all common held items, and it's like some of these aren't even held. Like, the bedroll. You're not holding a bedroll. I don't know. Maybe we won't pick one of each of these. These seem a little bit too overpowered to really do this. Let's just take a look at some of the other equipment then. I'll take a look at those runes. Because I do have a staff. I assume I could put runes on my staff. So, weapon properties, runes. These are all magical, but I actually, at least understood these. So, what do we have for runes? I remember there were, like, striking and potency runes. So those were mentioned in a comment. But there's a lot of other runes. So, Fanged. When etched into, or with this rune, a weapon's hilt or hat becomes engraved with grooves that match the imprints of a wolf's teeth. Activation. You transform into a small or medium animal that wields the fanged weapon in its jaws. Huh. That's interesting. Weapon potency runes. Attack rolls with this weapon gain a +1 item bonus, and the weapon can be etched with 1 property rune. Okay, that's an interesting thing. So it can be etched with 1 property rune. So then what is this? Is this not a property rune? I'm not sure if I fully understand now. Is this a property rune? I don't know. Oh, no, wait. It says right here in the subcategory. It says right here in the subcategory, property runes, fundamental weapon runes, accessory runes, property runes. Gotcha. And JP says, split the 50-foot, or tie the split 50-foot 1-foot ropes, shrink the size by half, open shoelace business. Once all are sold in one afternoon, break the spell, watch everyone trip and fall flat on their faces as 2 shoes become 1 big lace. We call that an act of evil. Yeah, that's an evil act. I'm just saying. Okay. Anyway. So, this is a fundamental rune. What other fundamental runes do we have? Here, striking. So, a striking rune stores destructive magic in the weapon, increasing the weapon's damage dice. It deals to 2 instead of 1. For instance, a +1 striking damage would do 2d4 damage instead of 1d4 damage. You can upgrade the striking rune that's already etched in a weapon to a stronger version, increasing the values. Interesting. And JP says, who's gonna know? You will know. That's the point. You will know what you did. That's what makes it an evil act. You did it with full knowledge of what you're doing. I didn't say that you were found guilty by a court. The alignment chart isn't innocent or guilty, it's good or evil. And both of those are determined by what you do and what you know. You know you shouldn't have done it. You did it anyway. Okay, I'm beginning to understand the whole rune thing, though. So you're just going to upgrade your weapons with these. This is completely replacing the magic weapon system. For good or ill, I'm not sure yet, but maybe this is an improvement because the previous version of making magic weapons was pretty damn arcane in itself, which kind of fitting since we're talking about magic, but it was not easy to use. It really wasn't. It was good, don't get me wrong. Once you made a weapon, you felt really accomplished, but you felt really accomplished because of how difficult it was. But okay, I'm out of time today, but these are really cool. I may go through and fill in some equipment on my own. I may go through and look at some of these, but when we come back next time, we're going to start going through the rest of Pathfinder. We're going to look at some of the other things. I may throw together a quick fighter and just see what that looks like. I mean, it's not my usual thing, but that's why we need to look at it. Either way, I want to have a better understanding of how this is all going to work, because the character creation is definitely weird. It's not terrible though. It's not terrible. Once you learn it. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, and we'll save that for next time. So if you want to see what we can dig up next, because some of the stuff is getting really interesting, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, that we get notified every time these videos come out. If you know somebody else who's also into tabletop games like Pathfinder 2nd Edition, especially if they can tell me what half of the stuff means, that would be helpful. Then share this video with them. If you want to leave a like on the video, you can. The button's down there. It do work. You want to leave comments, you can do that too, but if you're going to leave comments, might I suggest you just come and join our Discord. We have one. You can leave comments there too. And if you want to play with us, you have to come there. So, join the Discord. I hope to see you there. I hope to see you back here next week as we continue to go through Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And until then, take care.